Good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday. And yes, it is technically just barely 12 o'clock on my end.
Yes, good afternoon on this beautiful Sunday, actually.
But it's mostly morning for most of the planet, so good morning.
Actually, I think if you're just waking up, it should be your morning. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it doesn't really care if it's noon someplace or if you just woke up, good morning to you.
I like
just
to be
woke up.
time zone correct. I do have to apologize for the state of my voice. If it sounds like I'm really tired, it's because I am.
He is really tired.
I usually wake up a little bit more before I do Blood and Beans. That's why Blood and Beans starts, and I'm usually all alive and awake. That's not actually me in the morning. This is me in the morning.
Yeah, I'm normally the one that's running around the house. He sits and rubs his head.
Yes, if you can't tell, Pockets is the one with the morning energy.
Has to be.
I'm not.
When you're a housewife, though, as then you have to be.
I'm sure, but I'm not a housewife.
Oh, I got a whole bunch of Wish stuff that came in yesterday. Very excited, I know. It's kind of like a mute point, but I got a cover that goes inside my microwave to keep it clean. Some assembly required. Because it comes from China.
What does that mean?
Huh?
Just because it comes from China, it's assembly required.
Yeah, my dad always used to say that. If it comes with some assembly required, it was made in Japan or China. I'll have you look at it because this.
I hear the child.
Oh, I got it. Look at that.
We just started Blood and Beans.
Yeah, it's the Snoopy cover. It even has like a little. Yeah, I put it on backwards. It's got a little.
Your mother is doing a product review without a camera.
It has this little thing on top where you can, as much heat you want to escape, you can let it escape. You can steam vegetables with this thing. It's awesome. Gotta love plastic.
Say good morning to the
Good morning, Blood and Beanies.
Good morning to the Blood and Beans.
Maybe she was giving herself a kiss in the sand in her food. So like her ex, she got her own necklace on. What? Could be possible. Kids dream about really weird shit.
Yes, honey. That they do. I dream about really weird shit.
Oh my god, remember when you came out,
I had a dream about...
You were terrified, you came out, you were like, you don't run away, do you? When I'm sleeping, I'm like, no. Because you had your bad nightmare.
No, don't remember.
You came right out.
I remember last
In your
night, though,
boxers.
I had a dream about work. I had an actual, nightmare about work. My current job. Just the first one about my current job that I can remember.
That's really a year-old.
I don't know if it was really a nightmare or not, but I mean, maybe it was. I was in a stressful situation, that's for sure, and I don't remember all the details, but I do remember my boss's boss was, looking at me through a window on the other side, standing there like Jason Voorhees, which is really funny, because he's, 5'8" and, 100 pounds soaking wet. He is very aggressive, though. Not aggressive, but, booming with energy and knows what he wants and isn't afraid to go get it. There's no second guessing with this guy. So, I don't know. It was just funny. I didn't wake up in cold sweats, but I was like, huh. I had a dream about new work. Is it? Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that the music is a little loud and I can turn that down as such. And if for some reason it's still too loud, or if it is too quiet, now, please let me know. Though I think this track is kind of quiet anyway, so I might have to wait for it to pop in. But there it is. So if it's still too loud, let me know. If it's too quiet, let me know.
You're gonna blink in a second, just to let you know, or not.
It's too late now. I never chance to change the channel and make me blink again.
No, I don't. I left on HDMI 1.
Okay.
You see, I left on HDMI 1. You didn't.
It's cool.
You're fine.
We're blinking.
It's just one blink.
Yeah, sure, it's 2 blinks.
Well, 2 blinks.
Cool.
One
Alright,
just
thank
went
you
off.
for letting me know that it is better now. Trying to troubleshoot that from this end, especially because different audio tracks and different playlists all play at different volumes, and then trying to like get it all equalized it can be a bit daunting.
You're lucky.
Equalized, daunting. And I know these aren't like super big words, but they're way too big for me this early in the morning. Well, early in the afternoon, as it were. Plus, I'm also probably talking a little quiet. I'll try and stop mumbling away from the microphone.
You mumble anyway.
Love you too, dear.
No, sometimes you're talking and then you don't realize that you're not talking loud enough, and you start to trail off, and then I go, what? And you get mad at me because I didn't hear you. What?
Okay. Apparently I do these things. I don't even have the energy to argue.
All people do it. It's because you like just woke up.
Cigarettes.
Yeah. I'm involved in the study, but okay. Where's your vape? Let me get it for
Burnt
you.
coil.
Oh,
I keep telling
do
you
you want to
that.
use mine?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I know you don't like to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
So a friend of mine at work taught me about this game because I was telling him about drinking games, one we used to play in Halstead from the Locust Lake series. Buddies and I in Halstead, we would play this game called the Circle of Puke. We only did it like once or twice, and it was because we had no anything. We didn't have dice. We didn't have change. Like, nobody had anything, and there was like 6 of us, as ridiculous as that sounds. Good morning, Manny. Good morning, Mandy. How are you? Both came in at like the same time. It was kind of cool. So we all climbed out this tiny window into like the front of this yard of this cabin we were staying at because the door was locked and we couldn't get in and out the door. Long story there too. And what, honey? I'm sorry.
Cigarettes, and I don't have any cigarettes. You will need it.
Don't have them. Sorry, I had to get something for pockets. Back to the story. So anyways, we're all standing outside. We have no change. We have no dice. We have no cards, anything. And what are we going to do? We have like 2 30-packs of beer. So my buddy Dave's like, well, let's play Circle of Puke. And obviously none of us have even heard of it. And the rules of the game were actually very simple. You all stand in a circle and you chug beer. You chug beer until you puke. One after another. Preferably you shotgun it, snake bite it, whatever, and boom, get rid of the beer. And the last person to puke wins. And because you're puking because you're like over full and not because you're over drunk, like it's not like you're sick for the rest of the night. I'm not saying it's the best game in the world to play, but it was a fun game. Anyway, I was telling my buddy at work this, and he told me about a game that his buddies used to play, and I really like the sounds of this one. It's called The Wizard. You take a beer, obviously, every beer you drink, you take the can and you stack them, one on top of the other, all the empties.
First does that.
And you tape them together until basically you have a wizard staff.
Yep.
And when the staff is taller than you are, you win. The first person who makes their staff taller than them wins. Good morning, Dog Lover, and good morning,
Shawnee
Somber,
would be
and good
able to
morning,
do that.
Reaper. Reaper's Horror Stories.
I bet you Shawnee would be able to do that.
And it sounds like a really fun game. I would like to try it. And I think, and everyone's like, well, obviously it'd be easier for shorter people or smaller people.
No.
Body mass. You gotta take into account body mass as well. And I think that game, like, takes it into account very well. And I want to play this game. I'm gonna become a wizard. I'm a wizard, Harry. And I'm going up to camp soon. Have not seen Disney Star Wars movie. Disney Star Wars. Sorry, Pockets dropped stuff. I got distracted. Disney Tarzan. Have not seen Disney Tarzan.
I have. It's funny.
She says it's funny.
I like it.
No. Circle of Puke does not involve rubbing alcohol.
Oh
And they
no! Are you? If anybody
do
is
not-
stupid enough to drink that, please leave, because that can really kill you. And I don't want any dead people on the chat.
Calm
Because
down.
that's just people.
Calm down.
Would you want a
No,
haunted chat?
it is not.
We can't throw
It is
holy
not
water on the
drinking of
computer.
rubbing alcohol. It is just drinking of the beer.
Yes.
Just the beer. Like,
That's the
not
alcohol
like
part.
liquor and stuff like that.
Oh my God,
We're
that
not out to
scares
kill
me when people
anyone,
ask
but
that.
we use snake bite beers. Always. Good morning, ISP. How are you?
Hi, Steve. Yeah, no, that just scares me.
Well, I understand the joke that you were making, Reaper.
Oh, it was a joke. Oh my God.
Of course it was a joke.
I thought he was like literally asking the question, like, no, Pat, please don't drink that. I would feel like so bad.
No.
You know what I mean? Oh, like, oh God.
Yes, rubbing alcohol is poison. It can make you blind. It can kill you. Yeah, rubbing alcohol is not
I've
the
gotten
good.
it in my eye before. Oh, it stings.
Rubbing alcohol is the kind you don't drink. There's two different kinds. There's ethyl and
Yep.
methyl. Ethanol and methanol. And the old way we used to remember it in school is nobody wants to rub ethyl. Because it sounds like an old lady's name. We don't rub ethyl, and nobody wants to rub ethyl.
But my ethyl is good.
So that's the one you drink,
That's a very
and then the
old
other one you do rub and you don't drink. At least that's how we remembered it in school. But basically, if you can buy it at the liquor store, you're fine. Not for Circle of Puke though, because that'll still give you alcohol poisoning.
I should have grabbed you one of
Don't
those Long
recommend
Island
that
iced
either.
teas.
I bet you were out like a light last night. Parties will do that to you, my friend. I'll
As
see
soon as
you
I
in
took
5
my meds,
weeks.
I was out. You don't know how much the sun and a wave pool will take it like really out of you. Now, of course, you see Shiloh in the wave pool, kind of. You know, because
There's a lot of people
she's
here
still
this
short,
morning.
but she had a lot of fun. She had to help her mother in the wave pool, actually. Shiloh, I need extra weight. Come here. Even though I'm 138, she's 78.
It's funny that the blood and beans, I just like wake up, roll out of bed, and do blood and beans. All tired, I'm like, nah, let's just do
That's
the blood
just not
and
everybody's
beans.
awake.
Everybody's here.
Hello, everybody.
So please excuse me while I also randomly collect my thoughts and take sips of coffee and whatnot, because most blood and beans are very unstructured. This one's going to be even more unstructured than your normal blood and beans.
I had no idea this was a skirt. I am so happy. I
Yeah,
thought
I
it was.
saw it was a sweat skirt.
I thought it was a
Suit.
pant
It's a
and shirt. I thought it was a
sweat
pant and shirt set.
skirt suit.
It looks like it, but it's very, very, very light material.
No, it's cool looking. I like it's pretty.
And it's purple freaking camo.
It's all purple
And
camo,
it matches
but
my
it's
black and white high tops.
it's a tank top,
I like a little
which
teenager.
is all purple camo, and then you would think like a sweatsuit or maybe even shorts, but no, it's a skirt that is also purple camo, and it's like made of like
Yeah.
thin sweatsuit material.
Polyester. Here. Get it. It comes from China.
It's the thing. It's like even
Polyester.
stretchy and stuff like that.
Yeah, it
It's
goes
cool.
all the way down, like, and it helps me with my long legs because they're ridiculously long, and like a regular skirt looks like a mini skirt on me. So this is actually, it comes down to my knee. It's really nice.
I was up.
That's why I landed at the wave pool.
I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning last night, Reaper, myself. Wasn't up super late, but I didn't go to bed early either.
God, I got sick.
I was up till
What?
I was up till 2 playing Grand Theft Auto 3 on my Xbox Classic and watching Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. And eating Takis and drinking Mountain Dew and iced tea, and it was awesome. It was a good way to end the day, for sure.
Yeah, I went and all of a sudden, I felt sick, and I grabbed my stuff, and I brought it to the bedroom, and I even brought my wastebasket with me just in case. But I think getting up at 5 a.m., because he said he was going to get up early, so I wanted to get up early so I can bag up all the garbage for him.
No, you're not going to get sick your first time in VR. Your first time in VR, like...
That's the fun part.
When you first put on your VR headset, it's going to bring you to something that it's a very introductory experience.
Tutorial.
Yes, it's a tutorial, but it's going to teach you basically the very basics of VR. How you grab things, how the mechanics work to throw stuff. You'll be standing in one spot. The problem with VR is motion sickness that people get, and that's because of a disconnect between what your eyes are seeing and what your body is doing. So games like Beat Saber or the Lightsaber Dojo in Vader Immortal or something along those lines where you're standing still and just your normal body movements of what you're doing, moving your head, moving your arms, are reflected in VR. That's not going to make you sick because you're still doing what your brain is seeing. You're not pushing a thumbstick to move. The problem comes, people start to get sick, is when they start to do that, when they move a thumbstick to move. That's why there's the teleport move instead. So again, your body's not doing anything that you're not actually doing. There's no disconnect. But like walking around, you'll even see sometimes there's vignettes. So like you know, cuts off your peripheral vision, and it makes it so you're a little bit more tunnel visioned, which will help it when you are moving. As you get better at doing stuff like that, you can start to take the vignette off. And then once you get good at games where you're able to walk around with a thumbstick, and you're okay with that, you might want to pick up something. Then try like driving. Don't jump into driving. Don't jump into flying. Don't do that first. That is what you want to start working on to, like, you know, master your VR legs.
He got a skateboarding game or a snowboarding game. And he had to hold on to the back of my pants.
If you jump into that too fast, what'll happen? The reason why people get sick in VR is because they get a VR headset and they do what they've always wanted to do, right? Well, I can go and I can run in this game and I can jump off walls and I can do flips in the air, and I've always wanted to do that. Well, if you put on a VR headset with no VR legs and you go doing that, you're going to make yourself... There's a really good chance. Some people have extremely good natural VR legs, basically. It's like sea legs, because you have to actually, grow it. It's something that you develop. Your brain does become used to it. But some people have it natural, where they can just... But most people, not even me, most people aren't like that. Most people will go and do something or jump into a driving game first, and they'll get sick, or they start to feel sick. They start to sweat, their stomach starts to churn, and they're, it's only been 15 minutes. I'm not turning off the game yet. I'll be fine. And they keep pushing themselves. They keep pushing themselves and playing. And then when they eventually do take the headset off, now they're violently ill. Once they take the headset off, then they become violently ill. You have everything's spinning. You have vertigo.
It wasn't spinning for me. I just had to throw up.
And then people don't go back to VR. Then it's, VR makes me sick. And then people don't do it. And it's not because VR makes them sick. It's because they approached it the wrong way. You have to start slow. Start small and work your brain up to it. And if you start to feel sick after 15 minutes, take the headset off. Take a 10-minute break and then go back into it. But don't just push yourself through until you get sick and go, well, I'm not a person that can play VR because I get sick. It's not like that. It's a skill you have to grow. And good morning, Emily. How are you? Sorry, I've been ranting and trying to get through my VR headset explanation, and I see some people have been stopping in. I've played Dead Space on the PlayStation 3, I think. Maybe the PlayStation... I think it was 3. I haven't played any, like, in VR or anything, because I have an Oculus Quest. My headset does not connect to my computer, because my computer is not powerful enough to play VR headset games. So I have to play just wireless Quest games. So if it's something you have to connect to a PC for, no, I have not. No, I have not seen the show Dexter. I've heard of it and stuff, but I have not seen it. Good morning. I don't rant all the time, Frank.
Yes, he does.
My wife's back.
Ew. When you go, you do sometimes. I'm sorry. Everybody rants. It's a natural human thing.
If you're good walking around VR chat and stuff, and you're good in VR chat for a while, then yeah, you're probably fine to start doing some racing and some flying games. Unless you mean VR chat through your desktop, then yeah, I would, start slow. You can build up a good set of VR, adapt your brain to VR pretty quickly. It can be done within a month or two.
See me, I stay steady with the Beat Saber because it actually helps you exercise. If you stand there and you tighten your core and your stomach, it actually helps your abs and your back.
This is true. And everything I do rant about, I am pretty damn passionate about. So,
Yep.
At least you get that sense of authenticity.
Yep.
Flying's great. I'm terrified of heights. I'm absolutely phobic. And one of my favorite games for my headset is a game that actually Somber bought for me. Somber gifted me Warplanes, which is a World War II simulator. You fly all different kinds of World War II planes, and you go on different missions, blowing up ammo dumps and taking out train convoys, and it's fucking fun. It is so fun, and I am phobic of heights, and that's kind of why I like it in VR. Yes, it does trick my brain. Good VR will trick your brain. One of my very first experiences actually for VR was actually why I got VR in the first place. I wasn't sold on it until I saw the Vader Immortal commercial, and the guy's standing in the room with all the droids, taking out all the droids, and then, reality shows up, and he's like, "You used to be such a nice boy." And the guy just, clicks the button and goes back to fighting the droids. I was like, dude, that's what VR is now, and it's wireless, and I can have a lightsaber. I must have this headset. It's a must. So I did acquire this headset. I was actually during the shortage, so I had to buy it from a scalper. The first thing I did, obviously, was the First Steps program, where they teach you to shoot, and you have to dance with a robot. It's weird. It's neat, though. You play with blocks and little rocket ships, and you learn the functionalities of, how the controllers actually just basically, they make your hands into virtual hands, and then how to use your new virtual hands. But I went right from that program and downloaded Vader Immortal, because Vader Immortal came free with my headset. And once I had Vader Immortal, I was jumped right into that. And the first episode, probably about 10 minutes into the first episode, you get a lightsaber, which was fucking cool as hell. You don't get to do a whole lot with it yet, but you get a lightsaber. And then right after that, you have to start going outside of Vader's castle, which is way up on the towers, and out on this walkway, and climb pipes, and you're 4,000 feet in the air. At least that's what it looks like. And this was one of my very first VR experiences, and I was under the impression, man, that if I dropped my vape, I would never get it back. This would be all the way down there. VR does trick your brain. Good VR. But I enjoy that in VR because I know it's not real. One thing I don't like doing in VR, which I find very uncomfortable, is things with outer space, like black holes. I did it once. There was a YouTube program where you get sucked into a black hole very slowly and then spit back out the other side. It's weird. But to have something like it looks like on that massive of a scale, it's absolutely fucking terrifying. At least to me. And the other one is like deep water. I don't like being like in water where there's like a bottomless ocean behind me, especially if it's one of those experiences or games where like not only could there be something extremely large right underneath you in the black, but it's also likely. Those things terrify me. Terrify me. Those are the experiences I don't like in VR. FNAF VR kind of, it pushes that line because you don't know what's in the darkness and what's likely there in the darkness, and the textures, the way everything looks, it's so realistic. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. I've seen grown men, not me, but other people like on YouTube videos tear the headsets from their head and just nope the fuck out. Like, nope, not doing this. Nothing's happened yet. Like, they're just sitting there in the security office playing with the doors and looking out into the shadows, waiting for something to jump out, and they're just like, yep, nope, not doing it. Sorry.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Chat. I've returned out of the shower.
Not a fan of reality shows in general. I get enough reality in reality. I don't need any more of it. I have not played the Twilight Zone yet. FNAF VR is great if you like horror. If you want to be scared out of your goddamn wits, it's a great game. Now, is it good for like starting wise, like motion sickness wise? Actually, yes. Because just about all of the experiences are stand in one place and turn around and push buttons, and it's not going to make you sick because you're not moving around any. But it's terrifying. So just be prepared for that. I would have to say, so far, it's the number one scary experience I've had in VR. It's probably the scariest thing that I've played. Lies Beneath had some really great moments. That sinking ship game that Somber got me, that was kind of terrifying. Red Matter was pretty fucking eerie. That's for sure. There was parts of that game made my fucking hair stand up. But nothing so far has even come close to FNAF VR. Nothing. It's not that I'm nervous of Space Dog Lover, it's that I'm nervous of giant things of which I have no control over and of which have no concern over me. I'm just an insignificant speck of dust. Seeing like something like that is up close is, again, yeah, it can be a pretty scary experience. At least to me. Peace out, Manny. Thank you very much for stopping by. We'll be seeing you.
Every time I hear that, I think of the really
Space is cool. Again, I had to do it. And, like, even so, it's not like, oh, I'm so afraid of space I won't do anything. Like, give me a flying space shooting game, man. I'll jump in a ship and start zooming around the universe. I've got no problems with that. Yeah, see, I can't do side quest because side quest involves a computer. It involves putting the application on your headset via a computer. You still have to put side quest on your headset through a computer, and that's something I cannot do. Don't think most people get how out of date our computer really is.
Yeah, we got ours like a while ago.
My computer is very out of date. Like,
When
it's
we
not
say
like
it's an abacus, it is a fossil.
It's not like a 386 or whatever, but
Just so everybody knows, we do film YouTube videos on a box.
GoPro?
On the computer. So, just so everybody knows, everybody's aware.
On an abacus.
Yep.
I know. I have to sit here and manually do the binary.
Sometimes we'll just hear.
That's not funny. I know some binary. Thank you. Computer class.
Hey, Fuzzy, how are you? Happy Sunday, man. So, we all went to an amusement park yesterday. It was hot, so we spent a lot of our time in the water park. It's fine. I didn't mind. I like the water park.
Amityville too, though.
Water parks are cool. That's why next time I want to take you to Water Slide World. You know, it's just one big water park and we'll just have fun.
Well, I'm not the biggest fan of roller coasters because most of them go upside down, and I hate going upside down.
Yeah, which is fine.
And that's literally almost every.
And I wanted Shiloh to have a really good day yesterday, so I was totally cool with like the roller coaster thing. Was Pockets and I went on one. We went on the best one in the park anyway. We went on the Boomerang. Yeah, but we spent a lot of time in the water park, swimming, keeping cool, some water sliding. It was fun. I had a good time.
And we went to the lazy river. We swam through that.
Yeah, it was the laziest river.
The laziest river.
You just walked.
The last part I was actually very impressed on how I was like going under the water and I was swimming with the pond. It was fun. And I didn't hit anybody.
Thank you, Michael. I do appreciate it. The only thing with, and I know I can get a used computer for under $1,000 or get a decent one for under $1,000. But that's the thing. Like, it's not like even $1,000 to me is a lot of money. Like $700, it's not like I can just be like, oh, let me just throw $700 at this. Like, I'm not that kind of rich. Like, I'm not rich at all. You know, we're middle class. I make enough to survive. That's about it. So even under $1,000 is a lot. And the current computers we have in the house, they work for what I use them for. I don't need anything else at the moment. So gummy bear gin. I keep on hearing that that's very good. I'll have to try it sometime. I was sitting in my game room last night. I sat in there for a couple hours playing Galaga, trying to beat my high score, and I still can't do it yet. I have 103,000 score in Galaga, and closest I've gotten back to it is 88,000. So I'm trying to get, because Somber is going to be coming to visit shortly. He's going to be coming and visiting the Sabian, and then we are all going to go to Locust Lake. I'm going to take him to Locust Lake and we're going to party. But while he's here, he's basically told me he's going to be devoting almost the entirety of his time to beating my Galaga high score. And coming home every day and seeing Somber's high score at the top of my Galaga machine is going to bother the hell out of me, and I can't let this happen. So I am spending my time until he gets here trying to beat my high score and raise it. I'm glad you are enjoying it, ISB. It is 80s horror synth.
I'm tired.
We're all tired.
We're tired.
We did a lot yesterday. We were out walking around in the sunshine for like 7 hours. I absolutely do. I didn't play it when I was younger. I used to see it in the arcade all the time. That and Dig Dug. And I never actually like put a quarter into them because there was always like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles machine or something right next to it. So I was always playing on that. But when I went shopping for a new TV the other month, a couple months ago, for the back bedroom, I was thinking about picking up a new flat screen for the game room because the one that's in there, it gets hot when it's on for a while, and it doesn't turn off or anything. I just notice it gets hot. I don't like the fact that it gets so hot. And also the coax plug in the back is broken off, so I can't put analog television on there. So I wanted to get another TV, but the TV still works. And Pockets is like, well, instead of getting a new TV, that one still works. Why don't you just get one of those? They're the same price.
I was like, happy anniversary.
I turned around, and there's the 40th anniversary Miss Pac-Man machine by Arcade 1-Up. And it's $200. It's on sale. Got to get rid of it. $200. Like... So, yeah, okay, you're right. Why don't my wife just told me to buy an arcade machine. Another one. I already got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. I know. But she's recommended, here, you pick this up. You get this right now. Sure. I'm not going to argue. Put that thing together, and yeah, it came with 10 games. So, it came with Miss Pac-Man, Galaxian, Galaga, Dig Dug, Rolling Thunder, and like a bunch more. And I played through a lot. I've played a lot of Rolling Thunder. I love that game. Miss Pac-Man, I absolutely love Miss Pac-Man. It's actually why I picked up the machine itself. I'd never played Galaga before. And I started playing. I'm like, this game's fucking awesome. And I sat in my game room last night. I pulled up, I have a bar stool in there. So if I want to sit down, I can. And then I have a footstool that I can put in front of the arcade machine as well. So they're all standing up arcade machines, but I have a bar stool I can pull up and then pull my footstool out, and like I can just sit there in front of the arcade machine and jam. And I was there jamming on that thing for probably a good 2.5 hours. Had the 80s synth going and black lights and the flashing multicolored track lighting, and it was actually music very similar to this. Yeah, I spent some time playing some Galaga, and yes, Fuzzy, or Reaper, I have to freaking agree. Dig Dug is fucking amazing. Again, it's one of those things like I didn't realize was that good of a game, but now I have the arcade machine. Like, yeah, I fucking love Dig Dug, but it's Galaga. Galaga's the one that really sucked me in. If I had played that in an arcade, I would have dumped so many quarters into that game. That would have been my jam. I absolutely love Galaga. I mean, I don't play it all the time. But I have had it now for a few months. But here and there playing, and I do play it. You know, I'm not saying that 103,000 is a really great score, but it is pretty fucking good. I'm pretty proud of myself. I haven't even been able to reach it again. And it took me a while just to crack 100,000, so I'm pretty happy. And I know, like, I mean, I've seen people play Galaga and, like, you know, the highest score ever is like 1.5 million and this and that. And they're people that learned the patterns and stuff. I'm not a diehard like that, but I am somebody that probably would have went there consistently with like fists full of quarters and just dumped quarter after quarter after quarter into that game, trying to get on top of that leaderboard. I absolutely love Galaga. And yes, but Dig Dug is fucking awesome. I agree. I don't have Joust. I do have Frogger, the original Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong Jr. on my Atari 2600, which is hooked up and functional in the game room. So, I mean, I can't play those on the arcade machines, but I do have their Atari counterparts, and I can play those on the Atari, which is awesome, because sometimes I really do like just going back there and just jamming on it. I don't know what to play. You know what's fun to play when you really don't know what to play is a fucking Atari game, because they're so absolutely simple. And you can play one for an hour, or you can play one for yeah, 5 minutes, and then pop in another cartridge. Absolutely love the Atari. But yeah, Frogger's got it. Frogger and Pitfall are my 2 favorite games on the Atari. Love them both. I've never beaten Pitfall, but I've heard that it is possible. If you know the pattern, you can get through and find all 30 treasures before the 20 minutes run out. But you have to know the pattern, because there's a total of 250 rooms, and you never get through all the rooms in the allotted amount of time. So there's like the underground, every time you go underground, it actually skips 3 screens. So if you know the pattern, you can get all of the treasures in a lot of time. So I don't know. Someday, I'd like to beat Pitfall. I could see you being a hardcore player, leader. I don't know. I just get that vibe from you. All I know is that when Somber comes to visit me that day, I'm going to be biting my fingernails all day long, hoping and praying to God that he doesn't beat my high score. Yes, I agree. Pac-Man is the Atari 2600 version of Pac-Man. I have it. I think I actually have like 3 copies of it, to tell you the truth. It's not good. I love Miss Pac-Man though. I'm good at Miss Pac-Man on the arcade machine. I'm fucking great at Miss Pac-Man on the Atari. That was one of those games that I just played all the time when I was younger. I used to go camping because I wouldn't bring my Nintendo with me. I would bring my Game Boy, but the Game Boy ate batteries, especially the one I had. I had the old brick version. So I wouldn't play that all the time. I'd just play that when I went places. But like when I got to camp, I had my Atari 2600 at camp. So I just would, if I was inside, I was jamming on that, on an old 13-inch black and white television screen. Trying to get the wires to come in just right because it was fuzzy as hell, and I don't know, good times.
Maybe he wanted to go, somewhere tropical. He was having a vacation. They found a green shark.
Pitfall got a Pitfall 2. I think there's a Super Pitfall. Yeah, in fact, I know there's a Super Pitfall, and it did get a Pitfall 2 on the Atari. It's a little bit more of a rare game. I don't know if they remade it. They might have. It's a really classic Atari game. Like, everybody knows Pitfall. I've never heard of Vectrex. But I have recently gotten into Tempest. I don't have it for the Atari, but I have one of those. It's the world's tiniest Atari. The system itself is about the size of a quarter. The controller is about the size of a dime. And the comes with a little TV set, and everything's all wired together. And the TV set itself is like the size of a tangerine. But it comes with 10 games. It's completely playable, and one of them is Tempest. And I've been playing a shit ton of Tempest. Love Tempest. I lost my, I didn't lose it. I actually left it at home, and then it ended up being gifted to my son. But now, Pockets, since I've met her, she has brought with her a Game Boy Color. And it's a Game Boy Pocket, sorry. And that is sitting in the game room with a stack of Atari games, or Game Boy games. But I also have the Super Game Boy for the Super Nintendo, so you can play Game Boy games like on a TV with a Super Nintendo controller. So usually if I'm playing a Game Boy game now, it's through that. I'm not usually popping a Game Boy game into a Game Boy. That, if I'm bringing a portable system someplace, believe it or not, I'll still bring my 3DS. Yes, I own a Switch. My Switch, I honestly like to stay here. I don't like bringing my Switch places. It's not that I don't like to play my Switch on the go. It's that it's a home console. It costs $300, and it's got a ton of shit downloaded to it, and a ton of games in the case, and it just makes me feel more comfortable with it being at home in the dock. I was just looking over at you as you sat down. But no, I'll bring my 3DS because that's got a lot of really cool 3D games. A lot of really cool 3D games on it. It's got, the old classics and some Nintendo games and shit like that. I got Mario 3 on there. I got Kirby's Adventure in 3D. Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic 2 in 3D. So, I don't know. I love my 3DS. Week's been decent. I got the car, I think, under control. I drove it all day, every day, back and forth to work. And I drove it yesterday up to Lake George. And I drove it back, and there were no problems. So, I think we've got the car's problem solved. Which makes me happy because need a vehicle. The Explorer is in the shop right now. So, but I'd like this vehicle to be able to make it back and forth to Pennsylvania, which is 3 hours away. And with it overheating, going 5 minutes down the road, and then blowing a radiator going to work, it's made me a little bit gun shy of bringing it that far on a trip, and I don't want to get stranded, and I don't want to ruin a car I just bought that, my wife basically paid $6,000 for. Like, I don't want to do that.
I bought that for him. That's what I wanted to do, mostly with my check, was to get him a decent car that looks nice, suits him. I can put an Autobot sticker on it, and there you go. That's why.
Yes, actually I did. I was looking into, saw some videos on the Super Game Boy too. And yeah, it was basically the same thing. It was like no difference. And I still have my Super Nintendo hooked up. I got my Nintendo hooked up. I've got all my games for both systems. I got my Nintendo 64. Like, my game room is jam-packed with all these systems and all Wii and GameCube and PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. But I'm not really like a collector. It's not like I have to have them all. I'm not a completionist. I don't need to own the whole collection. I just really like cool games and good games, and once I have them, I don't really tend to get rid of them, because that's what I like to do, is play games when I have time. So
he's a gamer. I love him.
I've been to Universal Studios. It's fun.
I haven't yet.
At least it was before. I mean, I went decades ago.
They got rid of the Jaws. I know that much. Everybody was like really pissed off they got rid of that ride. It was one of my news breaks.
I'm going to be closing down the stream in a little bit, so if you guys got anything you want to punch in, go ahead and throw it in there.
Sabrina wants to come down later with her new fiance. I told her I have some errands to do, but I don't have to. I'm happy she's coming down.
Me too.
Sabrina is one of my daughters. One of the gremlins that we have running around.
Back to the Future ride was fun.
That sounds
How
like
they
fun.
made Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock Psycho, and the birds and shit, that was a lot of fun. The Jaws ride, before they got rid of it, that was cool. But the Back to the Future ride was just... That and the Psycho thing were amazing. I've still never seen 3D that good. I mean, that was like virtual reality level of 3D. Like, they did a really good job with the 3D in the Alfred Hitchcock Psycho thing. And getting into a freaking DeLorean with like a wraparound screen, like for the Back to the Future ride, like that was just fucking cool as hell. So someday I'd like to go to like, I think it's Disney World, I think, where they have like the haunted house of like 80s slashers attraction or whatever. Like they did this whole thing up with like Crystal Lake and Jason. Like you walk through like the cabins, and
I think that's Universal.
it looks neat. I don't think it's Universal. It could be. I could be wrong.
Daddy went down to Disneyland in October.
It wasn't there then. This is new.
Okay.
So I'd have to check into it, but yeah.
And I'm not afraid to fly anymore, so it's okay.
Not a whole lot, Emily, actually. Been basically on the same topics. That sounds cool. Like, I've never been to, like, Disneyland and stuff. Been to Hershey Park. I've been to Cedar Park in Ohio, which has the tallest roller coaster in the United States. I think it's the third tallest in the world. It's 420 feet in the air. It's amazing. And yes, I'm still very scared of heights, but that was fun.
Eastwood, she's a tiny little kitten. You're running from a tiny little kitten. You're not being a dog.
That would be awesome. I would love to go to a retro video game convention. The only thing is that retro games now are like so expensive. They didn't used to be so expensive. It's not that they know the value, it's that collectors have driven up the value. It's what collectors will pay for them, and then the market goes into according with that. And then you have people that artificially inflate the market through fixed auctions and stuff like that. And it's made collecting retro video games a pain in the ass. And yeah, it's, you know, the value of my personal collection has gone, you know, up as I've owned it, which is pretty cool. But so what? It's not like I'm ever going to sell it. Why would I ever sell anything in there? So I could make money to buy more things I enjoy, like the games that I just sold? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I miss the days where you could, like, go to, like, a flea market or a garage sale and, like, you know, some mom, like, has no idea what she has, and her son's off to college, and, oh, I'm just gonna get rid of all his stuff, and, yep, he left this here, says he didn't want it anymore, and you could take that whole box right there if you want it for $10. And it's like a box, like, with a game system, like a Nintendo, which I already have one, but it comes with, like, you know, 30 games in it, and you get it for, like, $10. Like, I miss that shit. That was awesome. You don't find stuff like that anymore. If you do, it's rare. I love Hershey Park. I never got sick at Hershey Park. I've never gone when there was a smell. So I'm imagining maybe you went, like, during, like, planting season when they were spraying fields or something. But I've never gone to Hershey Park and experienced any kind of smell. I loved Hershey more than Dorney Park. Dorney Park is great, but it's got no shade. You're walking around in a parking lot. Hershey Park had, like, trees and shit. I loved Hershey Park. It's closed down now. They closed it, but that was, like, my favorite amusement park. I absolutely love Hershey Park. I think it's great that you've been there. I'm sorry that you were sick, but I love that you've been there, that somebody else at least, you know, has experienced Hershey Park, because that's great. That was my favorite amusement park. Hands down. Loved Hershey Park. Yeah, I think it's closed now. Dog lover. See, they have them where we go camping down by local. There's a big flea market, and some of the people there, like, they'll still sell like video games and shit at, you know, pretty decent prices. But then there's other people that are there, and, like, it's just like going to a used retro video game store where you're like, no, that game's it's $30. Like, dude, that's what I could go buy it in a store for, is $30. Like, I'm at a flea market. You think you'd sell it to me for, like, you know, a discount because you're unloading stuff, and that's kind of the point. But nowadays, people, like, use flea markets just to set up as an extension of their stores and shit, instead of, like, just getting rid of extra inventory. Though every once in a while, you do find some cool stuff. What was it? I found a game. Smash. I found Smash for the Wii. We went to a church, like, flea market garage sale thing. And just for the hell of it, I was like, I'm going to go over here and just check out the DVDs. And sure enough, in the middle of one of the stacks of DVDs on the shelf was a Wii game. And I know what I'm looking for, so I can spot it a mile away. and it's Smash. And I got it for, well, it was on sale for $1, but because they were trying to get rid of everything, they just were like, no, you can have that for free. I got Smash for the Wii for free. Which is great. And yeah, it's, you know, oh, it's Smash for the Wii. Yes, I have Smash Ultimate for the Switch and stuff like that, but still, like, that's awesome. Like, Yoink picked that up. That's awesome. I still have a Wii too. Like, our old Wii, we used it so much. We burnt out the motor.
Playing Mario Kart.
We burnt out the motor on it. So I had to go get another Wii. But the cool thing is the brain from that Wii actually got transferred to my Wii U when I got the Wii U. So our original Wii is actually still inside the Wii U. If you go to the the Wii menu inside the Wii U, our old Wii is there. All our old downloaded games, everything. So yeah, but to get it for free, you could tell, like, some people just have no idea what it is they have. Yep, I have the Nerf game too, actually. I also have that in my collection. Didn't play much of it. A buddy of mine gave me a game called Attack of the 3D Movies. It's fucking hard as hell, but that's a really cool fucking game. And I want to be able to get through, like, the first few movies because you get to unlock some really cool shit down the road. And I don't know. That game's fun. So, like, as you can tell, like, I like games. I do like games. My game room is like a sanctuary for video games. It's a lot of fun. Like I said last night, I was jamming out to some Grand Theft Auto and watching Jason Takes Manhattan. And had both arcade machines on off to the side too. Black lights going. Just creates a whole atmosphere in there. That's why my daughter helped me. Basically, she helped make the game room. Like, yeah, I got everything in there and whatnot and sorted, but she's so into it. She's always bringing, like, little stuff in there. We should do mystery Doritos. Get a jar and just put random Doritos in it, and then you don't know what it is, and it's mystery Doritos. Like, she just gets so into it. Xenoblade Chronicles was really fucking cool, but I just could not get into it. I tried. I did. I actually started 2 games in Xenoblade Chronicles, and the second time I got way further than I did in the first game. But it was like, I ended up going to this city where you had to fight this, like, one, like, political guy or whatever, and, like, all his goons show up, and they just fucking annihilate me in, like, 2 seconds. And I was like, well, I have to go level up. I have to go do more or something, because I don't even stand a chance in this battle. And then I jumped off a platform or whatever, and then I completely lost on how to get back to where I was. And the battle system in that, I just cannot get used to the battle system. It's too convoluted. But the idea of the game, the storyline, what the worlds are that you're on, like the bio gods or whatever, like, I love the idea of it, and the game itself is fucking amazing, but I just cannot get into that battle system. That's cool. See, I do not have a new Xbox. I actually just got my very first Xbox anything from the flea market last time I was at camp. I got an Xbox Classic. I've never owned an Xbox anything ever before that. I'm not an Xbox guy. My view is I'm a Nintendo person, and especially now, like, I'm married. Like, I can justify, yep, new Nintendo system came out, honey, I'm gonna go buy it. I can justify that because I'm a Nintendo guy. But I can't justify going out and buying a new system every time a new system comes out from anyone. Oh, PlayStation 5, Xbox One X, new Nintendo. I have to pick one. And Microsoft has the computer scene. They have PCs, do PC gaming. Xbox is to me always just in the back of my mind, and I know it's not true, so don't jump on me, please. But to me, they always seemed a bit redundant because you already have computer gaming. There's no need. And yeah, I know there's Xbox exclusives, but again, those could easily just be put on a computer if Microsoft wanted to do so. And PlayStation took what they learned from Nintendo and made PlayStation 1. I mean, that's literally how the PlayStation was created. I've been a Nintendo fan since the original Nintendo was released. So if I gotta pick one, I'm gonna pick Nintendo. And granted, my favorite system of all time was the Super Nintendo, mostly because of not just the Nintendo exclusives, which were all fantastic. I mean, Super Metroid, Link to the Past, Super Mario World. I mean, they were just amazing. But the third-party support, like Squaresoft and EA and shit like that, it was all on the Super Nintendo. All of it. And since then, the Nintendo systems haven't been quite as good. And that's because a lot of those third-party supporters have pulled out. Namely Squaresoft. Square Enix. Square Enix would completely revitalize Nintendo back to its former glory. It's when they left, everything changed. And probably won't be the same again until they start. And I'm not talking like, oh, we'll come out with Octopath Traveler. No, goddammit. Nintendo needs to make a system that's powerful enough to play Square Enix's newest games, like the Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you can do that on a Nintendo system, Nintendo would be back in action. But so I get it. So I justify, though, being a Nintendo fan, so that way, you know, hey, new Nintendo system came out, I'm going to go buy it. I can do that. So, and if you're first, yeah, exactly. If you're an Xbox person, like, is that your first console? That's cool. I've got no qualms with people that, you know, are, you know, they have a different favorite system, PlayStation or Xbox, or like Reaper. He got into it once Nintendo became more retro and he branched out into other systems. I can see that. I had friends that after the Super Nintendo came out, they didn't get a Nintendo 64. They got a PlayStation. And they've been PlayStation fans ever since. And a lot of those people got PlayStations because the new Final Fantasy VII game was going to be on PlayStation. That was why they sold so many systems. Well, at least partially why they sold so many systems. And it's not like they didn't deliver. It's not like, well, Final Fantasy VII was supposed to be great and it sucked. It was one of the best games ever freaking made. And it made people not have that, you know, buyer's remorse. I mean, some of the best games on, like, Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo, which, yes, Final Fantasy VI in Japan, but, like, Final Fantasy III was arguably one of the best Final Fantasy games still, to this day, one of the best to ever have been made. And I honestly didn't play through that until I was in my late 20s, mid to late 20s was the first time I played. I think I was 26 or 27 when I finally decided to put in the time and play through Final Fantasy III. But was I happy that I did? What an absolutely fucking fantastic game. What a great storyline. Holy shit, I was blown away. And that's why the Super Nintendo will always be my favorite game console. Secret of Mana, as many of you know, Secret of Mana is my absolute favorite game of all time ever. Ever. Not the remake. The remake of Secret of Mana was kind of crap. The one of Trials of Mana, Seiken Densetsu 3, that one was really good. I love that remake. But no, the original Secret of Mana is my absolute favorite game of all time ever, hands down, of any game ever made. Perfect storyline, perfect music, perfect pick up and play ability. You know, anybody can learn the mechanics. It's wicked simple. It was just a treat to play through from beginning to end. I remember playing that game as you know, an early teenager, 13, something like that, maybe even 12, and I was just absolutely enthralled, like, with the whole fantasy story aspect of it. You know, traveling to different lands and finding the sprite village and, trying to find the mana fortress and talk to the mana tree, and who turns out to be spoiler, and because I can't say it, because unless you haven't played it, I don't want to do that. But it's a great game, and it's still a great game. It's still a game I can pick up and enjoy the story and enjoy the music all over again.
You dance to it.
Not all the tracks.
See? Admittance.
I've played the crap out of Star Fox, not Super Metroid. Again, I actually didn't play Super Metroid because I'm not a huge Metroid fan. Not because I don't like the Metroid games, but because I don't like the style of having to go remember what you've seen in the past and then, I got this new ability. Now, where did I see that? In a back room somewhere. And it's not like some of those points, you have to go back and find those places and use that new ability to get through. That's where you progress in the next part of the game. It's like a big game of memory. And I don't know, it just didn't appeal to me when I was younger. It just seemed a little too daunting for me to undertake. But when the Super Nintendo Classic came out, the little mini console, and I decided, screw it, I'm going to play through Super Metroid, and I'm also going to play through Castlevania 4. I'm going to play through both of these, and I did. I played through them both, and I absolutely loved both of them. Super Metroid, yes, absolutely fantastic game. It actually made me get into Metroid a little bit more, and I ended up playing through Samus Returns on the 3DS because of it, which, by the way, that's a really, really good game as well. I have Dread. I haven't beaten it because I got stuck. Big surprise. So I'm probably going to end up starting over and end up getting a player's guide and using that. So this way I can maybe not get lost. Because I really like Dread. It looks cool. It sounds great. It's very atmospheric. Just not really my kind of game. I played Metroid Prime 2, Echoes. That was absolutely fantastic. That was also incredibly difficult, but I played through that and beat it. So, I do like the Metroid. I love the Prime games. I didn't have a chance to play Prime 1. I do have it now. I have the Metroid trilogy actually twice over. I have it on the Wii, and I have it on the Wii U. And I haven't played through all of it, but I've played through, maybe a third. Getting towards a half of Metroid Prime, the first one. And yeah, that's an incredible game. So far, I do like the second one better. For the GameCube, it was really good. And like I said, I have 3. I have never played 3, but I am excited for 4. I'm really excited for 4. Pilot Wings for this. I love Pilot Wings. I mean, I like the one for the 64 as well. It was good. I put in a lot of time in that, just like the free flying mode with the Birdman and shit, finding all the stars and whatnot. I did put in a lot of time into the sequel. But no, I absolutely love Pilot Wings for the Super Nintendo. Hell, I used to rent it. And it was one of the games that came with, you could either get it with Mario World or Pilot Wings. And I used to rent Pilot Wings because I had the one that came with Mario, that's what I wanted. But yeah, man, I absolutely love Pilot Wings. Now, Doom. Here's something I want to touch on, since everybody here has played Super Nintendo and a few of you have played Doom. I don't know if any of you remember Doom on the Super Nintendo. It was all 3 episodes on the cartridge. But there were some differences between Doom and Super Nintendo Doom. First and foremost being the frame rate. Frame rate for Doom on the Super Nintendo was pretty bad. It was like 10 FPS. It was so bad. Second, no saves. If you've played Doom, like the original Doom, you know how important the save function is. No saves on Doom for Super Nintendo. And no cheat codes. Again, if you've played Doom, you know the value of the computer console, IDDQD, IDKFA, all that stuff. No cheat codes on Doom for the Super Nintendo. Fun fact about me. Doom on the Super Nintendo was the first time I had actually played through and beat Doom. I wanted to play Doom so bad. It was a PC exclusive for the longest time, and I was not able to play it. Like, I could play bits of it here and there at a friend's house, but I was never able to play through it. And I fucking loved Doom. So when it came to the Super Nintendo, I think I was like 15, 16, maybe even 17 years old. I was, older. I think I had a Nintendo 64 at the time. When Doom came out for the Super Nintendo, I had to play it. And I not only played it, I fucking beat it. Because when you play through the first episode, which is like 9 levels or whatever, like, you beat the Barons of Hell, and then you go to the next episode, but you start off with like you have all your weapons, right? But you can pick that level. Or you can just skip the first episode and go right to the second episode, but you just have your weapon. And it's the same, that's what it was. Either way, no, when you skip, you do just start off with a pistol, that's right. But the problem was you had to pick your difficulty, and your difficulty, like, on normal, which was Hurt Me Plenty, you couldn't pick the last episode. You could only pick the first 2. If I picked a harder difficulty, I could start off at the last episode, but I didn't want to play on the harder difficulty. I think it was like Ultra Violence. So I played Hurt Me Plenty and started off Knee Deep in the Dead, which is the second episode. And I'd play all the way through the second episode just so I could get to Hell, the third episode, on that difficulty. And then play all the way through that third episode and kill the spider demon at the end with no saves. And if I died at all, that was it. I knew I'd turn the system off and I had to start all over again. No deaths. Had to be a no death run, because when you die, you lose all your weapons. And if you you make it halfway through Hell and you're on like the 5th level in Hell and you die and you lose all your weapons, you're fucked. There's no keys. You can't pull up a save point. There's nothing. You're screwed. So yeah, it took me a long time. It took me months and memorization and everything else, but I was determined to beat Doom, and Super Nintendo Doom was my only option, and I did. I beats it. So yeah, I actually had buddies watching me too, like, holy shit, he actually made it to the end and this and that. Like, it was a thing. Huh. Oh, I've seen that. I've seen the Noah's Ark. It's a hack. I think it's a hack of Wolfenstein, actually. But yeah, it's funny. That's cool. I don't have the DLC, but I do have Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal on my Switch. So that's awesome. Once before it got That's cool. Yeah, the Dual Barons, that's the end of the first episode of Doom. And then there's Knee Deep in the Dead, which takes place on the other moon around Mars. There's Phobos and Deimos. So it takes place on Deimos. And then the third episode, you realize you're not on the moon of Deimos. You're actually on a chunk of that moon that is floating over Hell. So you climb down into Hell, and you're going to make all those son of a bitches pay. And yeah, it's great. What?
Oh, nothing. Give me the time. And Sabrina wants us to text her.
Alright, so I am going to get going. I could sit here and talk about games for a whole nother hour, but it has been an hour and 15 minutes, and we do have things to do. So, Doom and Wolfenstein are great boomer shooters. We're gonna discuss that term next I see you in Among Us VR. So, we'll be seeing you Thursday, Emily. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping in and listening to me ramble on about absolutely nothing. As I fill my day with stuff. So, hope you guys have a great day. be safe out there. Have a fantastic Sunday. And I really hope to see you this weekend for a brand new Locust Lake story. Takes place after the curse has ended. So present day. So I really hope to see you there. Love you guys. And we'll talk to you then.
Stay cool.
Ta-ta.
In some places where those people are